Hi,
For
Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. This is Smart Business Moves. Our guest today is Sharon Tinberg. Hey, Sharon.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Liz.
Hi, y'all.
We, I guess, have made some attempts, and Sharon is like, this isn't the first time that we thought we were having Sharon, but for a number of different reasons, it didn't work out. But we're there today.
Yeah, sorry about that, Sharon. Things don't always work out as smoothly as we would like, but we're glad we got you on now.
Yeah.
Okay, so right before we came on, Sharon, you asked me a question. How many people do we normally have on here? So normally live, we don't get a ton of people. 20, I think, on Friday we had. Is that or Thursday, Tom?
Yeah, we were like it kind of goes up and down. There was 20 some odd Friday. That was a good Thursday, rather, not Friday. Thursday.
Yeah. And then we normally get like mid 300 views of it. So what we get live is like a really small percentage of the people overall of that watch it and reach out to us, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So we have some regulars that come on that is going to have us on here right now, trying to find the thing. And it is a little bit.
Did you get the pictures I sent to you by any chance?
Did you send them to me, Sharon?
Mm-hmm.
Did you send them by email?
Yes, American Made.
Yeah. Did you send them today?
Uh-huh.
Let me go look.
I sent them a half an hour ago. Come on.
All right, let me go look. They're probably here. I can send them over to Tom.
Well, don't show it until it's when I start speaking that I would like you to show a couple of those pictures if you can. Is that possible, Tom? I see that look.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. List them to me and we can.
I'm trying to find them. I am. Let me go on my computer.
There's nothing. I mean, you can look for them in a while. That's fine.
And while you're looking for them, Liz, maybe you can explain what's on your head.
So we started our Christmas party today because of COVID, right? It's a different type of Christmas party. And so our Christmas party is going to span the 21 days from now until Christmas. So every morning we're doing a little something. We've got a contest each day. We're having some treats, that kind of a deal. So this is the start of my Christmas for my group here. These are snowmen, Tom. Can you see?
They look like marshmallows with hats.
They're snowmen. It's just their heads. It's hard. You know how everything's backward?
With hats and red mustaches.
Yeah. No, those are bows.
Okay.
Bows. They're cute, Tom. They're cute. Don't worry. You'll be seeing me in something different every single day. All right. So
do we want to talk about what's going to be happening for the rest of the week here before we get too deep into this?
Yeah, why don't you do that real quick, Tom, while I am pulling up Sharon's email.
Okay. Well, Sharon's with us today, and I know one of the things we're going to be talking about is training your cleaning professionals. There were a couple other things that you wanted to talk about today as well, wasn't that, Sharon?
I stayed with training. I plan and say, although I have a little controversial topic when it comes to training when I go through it, so we can still, get some feedback.
I'm looking at your pictures here, Sharon, and it looks like it's a really good thing that we're talking about training.
Those are pictures I took in the 52 offices I visited. Really.
Oh God. Okay. Well, we won't point out whose office.
No, there are no names and no way anybody knows, but they are from one of the 52 or 2 or 3 of the 52 offices. I want to let you know they all had the same thing, though. I put them in every office. Yes.
I was thinking as you were saying it. Well, they could come. At least 1 or 2 of those that I saw could have come from my office, right?
Are you sending those to me, Liz?
I did. I sent them to you.
Okay.
Did you get them?
I'm waiting.
All right. Well,
nothing I can see, but send them
to you. Let me try again.
If they were big files, it could take a while. And you're all the way like out on the West Coast, and I'm here on the East Coast. It's a long way.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to get to you at all. This really is a long way.
It's a long way. Hopefully it'll be
Put
here.
my ranch in between, we'd be at this for a week.
I'll keep an eye out.
All right.
Okay. So we're gonna do that today. Tomorrow, Alonzo Adams is going to be with us. Alonzo, he's a regular on Smart Business Moves, and we're going to be talking about annual planning basics. That sounds so bland, but somehow I have a feeling it's going to be anything but.
Okay, hold on, Tom. It says your message to Tom has been blocked. See technical details for more information.
Okay, well, you probably got hit at the firewall. So let me go ahead and fix that while we explain what's happening the rest of the week.
All right. Well, you
What's
get that.
Alonzo, tell me, I mean, this thing about annual planning basics, that sounds boring. What's Alonzo really going to be talking about on Tuesday?
I'm not so sure that it's going to be all that basic. We want to keep some basics, keep it to the basics as much as possible. But Alonzo's going to share how he does his annual planning, which is what I love, right? How because everybody should be doing some type of annual planning. Not everybody does, but everybody should be doing something. But everybody does things just a little bit different. And, gosh, I'm getting horrible feedback. Anybody else getting that?
Yes.
A little bit.
How about you guys mute while I'm talking real quick, and then I'll mute while y'all talk. So he's going to share with us how he does his annual planning. What are the things he looks for? Hopefully he'll bring whatever tools he uses to do his annual planning, and he's going to help us. He's going to show us how he figures out what are his goals for the next year, which I think is going to be really interesting going into 2021, just coming off of COVID, right? Not that we're off of COVID. Don't get me wrong there. I'm not saying that, y'all. Don't anybody take that as Liz said, because that's not it. But I'm intrigued to find out how he does his planning for his business. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be bringing on a few people that are going to be talking about their annual planning over the next week and get some different perspectives on what people do, how they determine their goals and their objectives, and how they lay it out, etc. So that's the deal there. All right, now you're up, Tom, for deal day, and I'll mute.
Okay, well, deal day is Wednesday. We haven't done deal day in a while. It's an opportunity for you to hear from vendors that cater to the house cleaning industry, people who make equipment and people who provide services, software. It's kind of a little bit of everything, training opportunities. And these are products and services that most of us use in our business anyway. And it's an opportunity to learn more about them and to get a deal where you can purchase them at typically a lot of other things are included that the vendors are throwing in that you wouldn't be able to get under normal circumstances at a value rate. And the other catch about this is the deal is good for 2 days, basically 48 hours. So these are deals that are special for Smart Business Moves Deal Day, and the only place you're going to get them is Smart Business Moves. And we really can't tell you any more details until Wednesday during Smart Business Moves, because that's part of the deal that we work out with the vendors, that they don't want, they want to make sure that it's special and to just this audience. So we'll be presenting it Wednesday, and you've got 48 hours to take advantage of some awesome deals. And Liz can tell you about that, because I don't think a deal day goes by without her buying something.
I wish that wasn't true, but it is true. I buy something every time we have deal day. The only thing that Tom didn't say that I think is really important is y'all need to know it's a pitch fest. That's all we're doing. We are selling things at a really, really good deal. So there isn't going to be anything else going on except for selling. If you're interested in buying stuff that people want to buy, which I want to buy, then you want to come. Yeah, Tom.
I will say this though. I mean, it is a pitch fest, no doubt about it. But it doesn't mean that you can't learn something. I learned something through every one of these because there's people that are doing things, providing services, offering things that I had no idea. I mean, maybe I heard about it, but I really didn't know a lot about it. And actually, after hearing what they have to share on Deal Day, I walk away knowing more. I mean, it's something useful to me. So even if I don't buy it, there's something to be learned.
Absolutely. I'll give you that, Tom. I am struggling to, now that you're streaming differently. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Linda, too. I'm struggling to pull it up on my phone and be able to comment.
Like, which page are you going to?
Right now, I'm going to Cleaning Business Today.
Okay.
Our Business Moves with guest Sharon Tinberg.
Well, I just pulled it up. It's right here.
Can you comment on your phone?
Well, I'm not doing it on my phone. I'm doing it on my desktop. I'm doing it on one of my 4 monitors.
Yeah, I'm struggling to do it on my phone and be able to.
I'm seeing comments.
Hi, Denise. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
I can comment.
Yeah, but you're the organizer, so.
I'm just doing this on my Facebook group.
I commented and it's not showing up on the live feed. Well, we're streaming to new places today. It's a whole brand new world.
Look at that. Tom Stewart just entered a comment. How's that?
Thanks, Neat. Started our Christmas party today. I'll have a new hat on every day. Hey, Teresa. Good to see you.
So this is like the Starship Enterprise. We're boldly going.
Yeah, whole new thing. All right. So, Tom, let's get off of this. And I know people want to hear what Sharon has to say. Tell us what we're doing on Thursday real quick.
Thursday, we're going to be talking about KPIs. We're going to pick up on our discussion. We started this last week where we're talking about, things that you need to get ready going into next year from a measurement standpoint. And we started off talking about profit and the various, leading indicators that go into that. And we just started scratching the surface. And we're going to pick up on that discussion. It's going to get a lot more interesting.
Okay, cool. Really wish I could figure it out, but I can't. All right. Well, hopefully I can play with it while Sharon is doing some presenting. Tom, were you able to get the pictures?
I got them.
All right. Yay. So Sharon, you just tell Tom.
These are, I'm going to have to take a shower after this.
I know. They're good pictures, Sharon. All right. Sharon, you unmute and I will mute myself.
Okay, so when Liz asked me to join them on this show, I asked her what would be a good topic because, they're experts at everything. What could I add? And I think that Liz, when she sees me, she just automatically thinks training. And that's probably because Liz used to use my core training DVDs, I believe. I don't know if she still does. But I can remember being in a meeting where she actually said she used them as an example of what not to do while cleaning a home. But I took absolutely no offense at that statement, Liz. I truly didn't, sincerely. And I will touch on that topic later. As a matter of fact, I advocate that action.
But I have to be clear, too. I was defending the DVDs at that time because people were saying they're no, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, for anything that doesn't match up, they're still very valuable because everybody agreed that parts of them were gold. It was these other parts that were keeping them from being able to use them. And to my brain, it was like, really? You're going to throw away a perfectly wonderful product for one little thing? I mean, use that to your advantage. So, really, to be fair, I was not downing for anybody that thinks I would ever down anything that Sharon does. That is not what was happening. So, just to be clear.
So, okay, that was the point of my whole speech, and it's wrapping up with that. So I'm done, you guys. I'm going to go have a glass of wine, and you guys can just discuss all the flaws in my video that you can use to train. No, I'm really kidding. I'm glad you said that. I brought it up because I wanted that point exactly to be brought out, and I will touch on this again down the road. Okay, I advocate using a video that has mistakes if you can't find anything that doesn't match you perfectly. Okay, so my topic today is obviously training, because that's what Liz thinks of it. And I'm going to break it into 3 sections. If I run out of time, Tom, I'll just run out of time, because I think we should discuss it after each section, because obviously, like Liz, people are going to have something to say.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the first topic, which could be controversial. But the real question to me today, after talking to clients who no longer train, is, should you take the time to train a cleaner before they step foot in the home, especially an experienced one? I don't think you need to be a brain surgeon to know how I'm going to answer that question. I mean, come on, it's my topic. That's how I made my living for the last 12 years. I think it's very important. Remember, I created core training a month before I opened up the doors of Rags to Riches, and it was very expensive and a long shot. But I did that because I knew my new role in this industry was going to be to try and help other companies become successful. And that was pretty much before the internet and all the highfalutin marketing you all do now. So the only thing I knew how to make somebody successful was to clean a home 5-star every time you clean it. Then to me, everything else just fell into place. You didn't need to be on the internet, because you would keep your client and add slowly, but you would add to it through referrals and a good reputation. So I'm going to agree, that being said, that 50% of a 5-star rating for a company has nothing to do with cleaning a home. If you want a 5-star rating, you better answer that phone by the 3rd ring. It continues when your cleaners get to the door in masks and gloves and logoed t-shirts. And more importantly than that, within the 2-hour window that you gave the client when you booked that client. That's a 5-star rating. But if all of that happens, but the cleaning team leaves a cobweb in the corner of the foyer, there will not be a 5-star rating for your company on Google that night. When all is said and done, it really is all about the cleaning. So after I created core training in 2000, when I opened up Rags to Riches, I actually, honestly, to God, you guys, I thought my work was done. You know, I sold my business. I just wanted another little chunk of money. This would do it. I was the only professional bilingual training video for residential clients on the market. I thought they would fly off the shelf and I would just sit back and count my money. I'm done. Well, that did not happen. I have sold a lot. There's no doubt about it since I created these things, and they're still pretty popular. But the volume of sales was far from flying off the shelves. Back then, owners were far more interested in how I got 754 repeat clients. If you remember this 10 years ago, cleaned 95 homes a day, did $2 million a year in revenue back in 2008, and never once stepped foot into a home. You remember, I was the first person that said, it's on the phone. Take your nights working on your business, not in it, which really selling in the home is. So everybody wanted to know how I did that, and I was asked to speak regarding marketing, which right now is kind of like, really? But I was asked to speak on marketing and not cleaning, and cleaning took a back seat. And when it comes right down to it, things have not changed that much. Cleaning isn't a sexy, fun, innovating topic like marketing is. You can't have a round table where everybody throws out their ideas about cleaning, because when it comes right down to it, that's the big enemy of cleaning. You don't need creativity when people are cleaning. You need consistency when cleaning happens. You need some experts that really can tell you, I don't care what you think about carrying a bucket around the room with all your stuff in it, an apron is faster. And it would be nice if somebody could prove these statistics so we could stop this, because in my opinion, it's like making a computer chip. There isn't a whole lot of creativity in making a computer chip. Once it's made, you got to follow that process every single time. On the way there, sure. But that's what the owner should have done long before they started training, correct? So I really feel that it needs to be consistent. So you need to use the exact process, procedure, tool, product, and action every time anybody in your organization cleans the same thing. Let me give you an example of this. What do your people do when they come to a refrigerator that has 20 little magnets on the refrigerator? What do they do, Liz?
So in my company, it depends. It depends on what clean you have. If this is your initial cleaning, everything gets taken off of the refrigerator gets cleaned, all of the things get cleaned. First, a picture is taken, and then they all get put back on the refrigerator. If it is what we call a routine clean, a recurring clean, then we have 3 levels of service. So 3-star, you don't touch anything to do with it at all, just the handle. If it's a 4-star, they all get cleaned around. And if it's a 5-star, they all get taken off, same as it would on an initial clean.
So training your person is massively, massively important. Mm-hmm. Because if you put an inexperienced person out there and they don't realize you have 3 levels of cleaning, you could very easily lose a repeat client. And as I go on, I'll go back to that a little bit, because exactly what you said, you can wipe around them, you can take them all down. There's so many variables, and they so impact keeping a repeat client. Okay? I call that procedure. No, I call that process. I'm sorry. The procedure is how you take them down, but I call that process. In this section, I still want to just stick with the most important takeaway I want everybody to get today, which is never allow one of your cleaners to step foot in a home before they have completed every single training of the area they're going to clean. I don't care what happens. I want you to take that vow today that will never happen again. If it means that you have to reschedule a client and give up that revenue because you don't have time to train this new cleaner, do that, or you will never grow. The damage you will do.
So I got a question. What about the companies that train in the client's homes?
I have no problems training in the client home. As a matter of fact, you have to train in the client's home. There's no other way to do it. That's why I get a kick out of seminars that don't end showing people how to clean a home, okay? But 75% of that training can be completed before that trainee ever steps foot in the home. And I'm going to go into that a little bit further down the road about what happens when you go, we'll just throw this new person out in the field before we're going to go into that, because you run into more issues. That means you're understaffed, and we're going to talk about what happens when you do that because you're understaffed. It even gets worse than that, okay? And you can all relate to this. Tom,
what do you think of working interviews? I know that more companies are doing that, where they'll take somebody the very first day, they'll send them out with a team. Sometimes it's just for 1 day. Sometimes it's for 2 or 3 days, just to figure out if they're willing to do this type of work, and if before they invest a ton of time in formally training them.
This is funny. You guys are just hammering my speech. So down the road, I talk to that, and I'll tell you why. I close this with that because I think that is that's going to make the phone ring, okay? Because it's controversial. What do I think? I think you've lost your integrity. I think if you are not willing to interview that person, do the reference checks, make a decision on that person, and then if you are not willing to bite the money it costs to train that person before you put them out in the field, I think you're in the wrong business. IBM would never do that. No, they don't send you out with putting you through training. Hey, they have trainers everywhere.
Oh, but they do send you out like on a working interview to see if you're a good fit, a good culture fit. No,
I know they do like a ton of like internships, which basically are auditions, and kids will spend a summer working for them, and then they'll kind of figure out who they want to hire later down the road. That's kind of a working interview.
I get that, but you're talking apples and oranges, Tom. IBM is here in the eyes of the interviewee. We are here. And when we do a working interview where they end up cleaning a toilet before they're even on the payroll, we go even further down.
Okay, so I come in with Sharon here. If you're talking about a working interview where I think we might be talking apples and oranges here. If you're talking about not paying them and expecting them to do this work kind of like you would for an intern, yeah, I'm not sure about that in our industry. You got to be careful there. But I think what Tom is talking about is something that is what I do in our company, or at least similar to what I do in our company. And I know a lot of people do, is I do hire people. I hire them for a temporary position though. I don't hire them for a permanent position. I put them on the payroll, I pay them, but I bring them on and I show them the job in real life. This is what a dirty toilet looks like, and you're gonna have to put your face 3 feet from that thing. Are you ready for that? Someone else's garbage, someone else's toilet. And so I do bring people in for 2 days, and they do get just this much training, because right then I'm not concerned about training them and how good they're going to be. I'm kind of the mindset that if you give people good training, they will be good employees.
So Liz, what do they do? Do they clean?
They do things like, they do some cleaning, but it's very minimal cleaning. Like,
give me an example of something they clean.
Sure. So here's a test I do. People are very familiar with this test that I do. In the first house of the first day, they're given a brush, like a toothbrush type brush, and a bucket, and they're told to go around the kitchen and do all of the edging of the floor by hand. And that's it. And when they're done doing that whole kitchen floor on their hands and knees by hand, the trainer or whoever they're with, which is usually the trainer, then takes the brush from them, looks at the floor and says, okay, thank you. Here, could you do that again, please? And they don't tell them why, they don't know anything. And it's to judge their attitude. Because for us, it's really important that we have an attitude of helpfulness and wanting to find out more. So the person that says, sure, why? Did I miss something? Can I do it better? That person, I love that person. We're going to keep them on. But the person that says, no, if you want it done again, do it yourself, they probably won't last hour 2. So I think that's what Tom is asking about. Is I'm like, I don't want to waste time training somebody who has the attitude of, no, I'm not doing it, or wow, or just a bad attitude of, I did it perfect the first time, because customers aren't always happy the first time. And I need your attitude to be like, oh, okay, how could I do better? That's just a, oh, Sharon, it's your birthday?
No.
You already had
history. That's history. But thank you, Martha. It was a week ago.
It was so nice of her.
Same general area code. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, Tom.
Sure,
Yeah.
you mentioned one other thing that surprises me. People still are debating if aprons can make you more productive and save time in a home. That's still a debate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Still,
Number one, because they don't know how to use them. There are still 50% of the companies who use aprons only wear them. They don't use them. They're part of the uniform, not part of a necessity to clean a house perfectly and rapidly.
It's not looked at as a tool.
It's not looked at as a tool. It's looked at as a uniform, as a costume.
yeah, like decorative almost.
And most people don't know how to use an apron. In all honesty, a lot of people don't know how to use an apron. If you use it efficiently, you'll never clean without one. But back to you, Liz. I feel like you're giving my speech, because I really have to say this, and I don't want to get in any type of a situation here. I could not disagree with you more regarding the way you bring your people on. There's absolutely no way I would take a person the first day and put a toothbrush in their hand and ask them to clean between the baseboard and the wall and expect a person to stay. I am going to treat them like a professional. I mean, what are the chances they're going to have to spend a whole day for the rest of their life in your company doing nothing more than cleaning baseboards and walls? Why not give them a real feeling about what a good day is like? Take them to a repeat client. If you have, I don't even know why you're taking them somewhere. Interviewing questions and checking references is when you determine whether or not you have a good person here. There are no guarantees in life. Just because you've got them scrubbing the floor doesn't guarantee they're going to be a happy camper for the rest of their lives. And I think you're blowing out a lot of potentially good people.
Could be. I'm not sure. I just know that I have had better luck keeping my people long term once I started doing that.
Yeah.
Before, I struggled to keep people as long of a period of time. And so I probably am. I mean, it makes sense to me that I am weeding out some perfectly good people, but the people I'm looking for are weeded out by this 3-step process that I use.
Yes, I have a question. I've heard you before. You didn't do this when you had American Made before you joined Tom. I've never heard you say this before.
Yeah, I do. I'm at American Made right now.
Don't blame me for this. I have nothing to do with
it. 7 years of your business, did you use this process? Because I never heard you speak about it. Okay.
I did not in the first 10 years.
Very long-term employees then, right?
I did. I just not as long-term. Back then, you said your employees lasted for years. I mean, that's what you used to speak about, was how to keep your employees a long time. And it's still true. But I don't know about you, but I definitely did have to change things as I got more employees and as I was around longer, so I couldn't do the same things. And
I was 60 and I did more training and held more hands before I brought them on board when I had 60 than I had time to do when I had 5.
Here, Sharon, you got to know that I am all on board with what your training is. I believe that it absolutely does work, or I wouldn't be bringing you on here as an expert, right? I do believe that. So Tom asked you the question, what do you think about it? I have no problem. If you think it's not a good idea, then I want you to tell everybody that and tell them why. Because I believe in what you're saying.
The reason I'm asking is we had Amy Wiggs-King on last week, and she had an interesting approach where she does a one-day working interview, and it's just a different thought process. I don't know if it's a right or a wrong, and it could be, depending upon business model and market conditions, and if you spend 2 weeks training somebody before they really figure out that they don't want to clean toilets, that could be an expensive thing. And if you can get that addressed in one day, that could be a good outcome. Conversely, you might have some really quality people that just don't feel like they have been properly prepared to go into a home without training, and lose good people that way too. I don't think there is a perfect solution. It's just a matter of where you want to take your risk.
And I don't think we have a perfect solution yet, but hopefully we're all going to continue to work toward something that gets, better results. And, I do think you're right, Tom, that, different market, different times is totally different. Ooh.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think that the comment you made about somebody could go into a bathroom and not like doing it has a whole lot to do with how you introduce that bathroom. I trained somebody in Atlanta who was college level material. I thought, oh God, this cleaning thing. I mean, she's not going to do this. And at the end of the first day doing it the way I did it, she said, I never dreamed it would be like this. I had no idea it would be this professional. She went home that night studying her materials and ended up to be a phenomenal cleaner. But had we just thrown her into a bathroom and had her start cleaning, or put her on her hands and knees in the kitchen cleaning baseboards, I'm telling you, she wouldn't have been back the second day.
And it's true. I do weed a lot of people out that don't come back the second day. That's true. You're right, Sharon.
And good people, I mean, come on, you must have 16% unemployment. We're already back down to 6.2 in Austin. So we cannot treat them like that, or we won't have no one working for us. I mean, we're not even close out of this corona thing yet, and we're already almost out of employees.
Yeah, not even close. Yeah, getting people to show up right now is a struggle, right?
Well, you are not a company without employees, so I really think you have to give some thought to what it takes to bring them in the door, what it takes to keep them there for a few days, and what it takes to get them to like what they're doing. And I think that's all in an attitude. And I'm not looking for the person to give me that attitude. I feel my job as a leader and a manager is to try and instill the attitude in them.
That's nice.
So it's a little bit different. So let me go back to, though. Let me see if I can pull this all together because I'm totally off whack now. Let me prove I was a debater and pull this whole thing together, okay? What's important that I was saying, the key thing I want everybody to walk away from today, and obviously I haven't accomplished it here yet, is you gotta train your people. And I'm going to tell you why I think that's important. It's because people will not follow through on actions if they don't believe in those actions. And what makes them believe in them is what they think. So if people walk away today believing what you said, Liz, and not what I said, I might as well give up the rest of my speech because they're not going to train anyway because it's not all that important. Now, wait, let me finish, Liz. Okay? Can you mute her, Tom? No. So, let me put this all together. If you believe in your processes and you believe in your procedures in your company, strongly, and hopefully we do, and you have tested them. You better have tested every single one to know your processes and procedures are the best. If you feel they are, then you want everyone to use them. No matter what they do, you want them to follow and do it your way. If you put somebody out in the field to do something before you've gone through every process and procedure, you're kind of saying, well, they're important when we have time to teach you, but maybe not right now. I believe you lose a ton of your moxie with that person who doesn't, for example, the person who came to you with experience that doesn't use an apron.
Yeah.
When your back is turned, will they really have that apron on, or will it be in the trunk of the car because you never took the time to make them understand the best way to clean a home is with an apron?
People have a hard time embracing any type of procedure if they don't understand the why behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what I hear you saying. Back to the working interview, we're going to let it go, is the operative term is interview. They haven't formally been hired yet, and it's just a matter of seeing if they've got the mettle to, the physical attributes and then some of the basic things that you could observe in one day in the field that you couldn't, it's not at all saying that we don't train people. I know Liz.
So what you're saying, Tom, is not hitting on the point of what I'm saying. Training after the fact is training after the fact. And you lose some of your credibility saying, I believe so strongly in my policies, my processes and procedures that I'm willing to put money on the line and make sure you do them, regardless of the fact that I might lose that money when you walk out the door. And training is expensive, but if you can do it in one day, which you absolutely can, it's well worth the breakage, damage, and mistakes that you don't have because, oh God, yeah, I forgot to tell her that in the field. And when you're in the field, there's no way you can cover everything because you're here, there, and everywhere. In that office, you will cover it all.
Hired yet, though. It's just an interview. It's kind of how, like, professional football teams, they do workouts and combines, and they have athletes come in and run and jump and throw and just demonstrate what they can do. And they're not part of the team. They're not training them. They're not practicing. They're not even part of the team. They're just trying to figure out if they can play the game. And maybe that's kind of the the thinking with the working interview. But let's not belabor that point. I just
Well,
don't
I
want.
want to say one more thing. I do want to say one more thing to that comment. Apples and oranges.
Okay.
Come on. Professional athletes are going to make more in 1 hour than we're going to make in 2 lifetimes. You can do that to them. Our people can go down the street and make the same amount of money they're going to make for us.
Okay.
So I think you have to figure apples and oranges, and that's not a good analogy.
We've got maybe 15 minutes at most, so we don't want to miss the opportunity. But
Sharon, are you sure you want me muted? Me?
I just don't want anybody to think that Liz or me or anybody on this program is advocating not training your cleaning professionals.
No, absolutely not.
That's
I'm not making it that way either. I'm going to take it back to how important I believe it is that people's thoughts go down your policy and procedure road, and I think you're giving up all of your credibility with that when you don't train them before you have them touching anything. I'm also going to say, again, that gal who turned out to be a good cleaner who thought the training was so professional and she thought she was joining a schlunk industry decided, wow, there's something behind this. I could do something here. Would not feel that way if she spent her first day on her hands and knees scrubbing baseboards.
Well, I'm going to have to argue that point because that's one of the things that people really love is they feel like that it's a more professional atmosphere because it's just the test. And once they pass the test, they're like, oh, I'm elevated. I'm above people that just get down and scrub and that's all they do. Like I'm a winner. So, I
agree. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So let me go on to, I was going to open it up for discussion. I don't know if any of your people want to talk about this other than you guys.
You're afraid, Sharon.
Well, I don't want to, are they afraid of me or afraid of you? I mean, there are two viewpoints. Okay, let's go into, you know what though, before I go to all this, I'm going to go back to the importance of training because I want to share a story with you about a client, but I also want to say, yes, Tom, it is not training at all. I got a phone call just this last week from a woman who's contract labor. Where's the training aspect in that company? And can't figure out why she can't grow. And well, you can't train. If you can't train, you can't grow. So that aspect is still out there. Then I have talked to people who have spent money on me, not as much as they spend on Liz to come to their office for a week, but they've spent money on me. And they are not using the aprons right now because their cleaners really don't want to. So apparently the concept of the thought process getting there was not there, but because it's so hard to find cleaners right now, they're letting them do whatever they want to do. So I'm going to say somehow or other here, people are not connecting the dots. They're connecting marketing to growth, but they're not connecting cleaning to growth. So I'm going to tell you this story about why and connect the dots, and that's probably all the time I'll have. But so I think you all know that one of my best friends is Gosha Barrett, and she owns Helping Hands in Elmhurst, Illinois. I chatted with her today and asked her if it was okay if I told her story. And she said yes, because she believes that there's nothing more important than training to your bottom line. Okay? So Gosha hired me right after I started Rags to Riches to help her grow her company. I asked her some questions about her cleaning processes and procedures, but come on, you guys. She cleaned houses herself for several years. I really never did clean houses. So she certainly didn't feel she needed my help in that area. She felt she needed her help gaining clients, not cleaning them. And I was so grateful she hired me that I didn't care what she wanted help with, I'd help her, right? So we set out to make her company grow, and we set repeat client count goals and started making a marketing plan to hit those goals and attain those numbers. I was then, and still am today, a very strong advocate of networking to gain a repeat client base. My 754 repeat clients came from the networking aspect. They didn't all know me, but they knew somebody who knew me because there was no internet. And I still know today when I look at people's numbers, their repeat clients really come from networking that stay more than from Google. That is very true. So I taught her how to network. Join things but philanthropic things. The chamber members are as broke as you are. They're giving you a business card as you're giving them a business card. Join the symphony, the ballet, Austin Junior Forum, someplace where women hang out who have money. And they give their time and energy to this organization. And at the end of the day, you know what? It's really a neat place to hang out because you help women and children in need. Not at the chamber where you're trying to sell everybody everything. So I taught Gosha this. Needless to say, Gosha took to this like a duck to water. I mean, Gosha loves clothes. She loves to get dressed up. She loves to go meet people. She adored this, okay? In like respect, they loved her. You know, she's got that magnetic personality. So by the time she left the first meeting, oh my God, I got like 3 repeat clients. She was so excited. So she had a month to clean them before she got to the next meeting. And they had a month to complain before they got to the next meeting. And she got complaints and she was very embarrassed. But Ghost is a strong personality and she handled all the complaints and went back to the second meeting. She got more repeat clients. She couldn't believe it, even after all the problems with the first one. She was so thrilled. And the next month, she got more complaints. Even though she was only so strong, she quit that organization. She did not have the guts to walk back in the door again. She felt that too many people felt she didn't do a good job of cleaning, and she wasn't going to join another one. Her growth didn't stop because, you know, in and out, but her repeat client count just like froze. Okay? So it took me a few years to actually talk Coach into realizing perhaps it's the cleaning. And I don't know, one day she just couldn't figure out what to do with her field manager. And I said, do I have to come there and show you? And she said, yes. And that was the birth of cross-country training. Okay? So let me catch up with myself here. What happened with Gosha is it worked. She went from 800,000 to 1.2 million that next year, in 1 year. But that wasn't the big plus. The big plus was it emancipated her from her day-to-day operations. She now had everything in place with a tight field manager, and she didn't have to worry about that field anymore. And she literally could concentrate on the important aspects of her business. And the next year, her net profit went from 12% to 20%. Now, how does this work? You know, you add training costs, you add field managers, but your bottom line goes up 8%. I'll tell you how that works. A repeat client wants 2 things. They want consistent cleaning results, and they want consistent people delivering those results. Statistics show that training increases quality by 54% and employee retention by 56%. I'm going to say, I have to go back and check that, but it did say training from the first point forward, folks. But the next question is, how many repeat clients do you lose a year due to quality or your client just being sick and tired of seeing different faces in their house? Well, not today, they're covered. Different bodies in their house. You can replace, I'm saying what you spend on training, you will make up for in not having to train again because that cleaner did stay longer and not having to replace that repeat client. So I wanted to finish on the importance of training. So where's Gosha? As you know, traveling all over the world, opening up new businesses, flew in here Saturday night. She and RJ surprised me for my birthday. I mean, I have to tell you, I was blown away when I walked in our sports bar and saw them standing there. She is just on top of the world. She told me she did 38% higher last month than last year this month.
Wow.
And Gosha has long surpassed my $2 million mark. I promise you that. What happened? She had her cleaning tight, and she let me share that many things with you because she feels that there is nothing that they flew in because they feel their business was turned around because they learned how to clean. There's just nothing more important than that, and they're so documented with every single process. And COVID for her was so simple because everything was so well documented, and they were already so doing touch points, unlike Tom, you could maybe now show the pictures that I showed you of the face plates and the door facings and the frames that I have seen when I have been out cleaning homes. I took these pictures in the 52 offices I went to. And almost, Gosha, where I met, hers looked just like that. I mean, sometimes I think COVID-19 is a good thing because at least you won't have clients calling up because you didn't clean their face plates, at least. But I wonder what the cobwebs look like in these houses. I really do. Because everybody's worried about touch points. There's no touch points on the ceiling. So, I mean, the whole thing should have been done all these years, never mind touch point cleaning. So, long story short, use Gosha as an example. Call her, Helping Hands Elmhurst, and get your training processes down right. So what I was going to talk about next is what is a process and how do you teach it, and what is a procedure and how do you teach it. But we are totally out of time.
Where were these pictures taken?
Well, I stopped training when COVID hit, so they were taken 3 years before that.
But these were like in the offices of cleaning businesses?
No, these are homes. I only do homes that they clean.
Oh.
So we would go in, I'm training a person to clean a house. And the way I train is everything I do in the office. And then I go out there all dialed up and I watch them. I never pick up anything. And when they're cleaning, I go, hold on, don't clean that yet. And I run and get my camera and take a picture. And I'm like, oh, another convention picture.
Okay, so these are the before pictures.
These are the Thomas Stewart, I can't even believe you said that. No, when I got done training them, that is the way our homes look, Tom. And that is why I'm just not successful.
But it could be the after pictures of what the cleaners were doing before you got there to train them.
Well, that's what happened. I mean, they just told me this I put in because it's part of my next presentation and we don't have time for it. So.
Oh, we have about 5 minutes, Sharon. Is there anything?
Sharon, what are we looking at here real quick?
Yeah.
Well, I really don't think there's time. I don't want to just slam through it, you guys. Okay. I mean, give me back and I will finish my speech.
Okay. And we'll have to not interrupt you next time.
Because I really think that, part of it now, hopefully people are convinced to train. But once you're convinced, if you don't know what you need to train and how you're going to train it, you're still lost. And I don't think people understand the detail that is involved in training and why you can cover 75% of it before you ever hit the field.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on the importance of training and that the importance of training to a retention as well. I don't think we have any discord there. We're 100% in agreement.
Well, what we consider training, is it first day or the third day you see this person? I believe as soon as you shake their hand and you've hired them, you believe it's after that fact.
I believe that training is more than just cleaning. That for me, cleaning, that just the process of cleaning is not enough. For me, training is holistic. And it's about mindset, and it's about attitude, and it's about a lot more than just the cleaning. For me, if I have an employee that knows how to clean really, really well, but can't remember to say hello, or is so snarky that when a client walks into the house and says, what are you doing over there? And she says, I'm not done yet. Don't ask me questions. That's no good. So training is more than just, in my mind, more than just the physical act of cleaning. For a professional housekeeper, it takes a whole lot more than that. They need to know why they're doing what they're doing. I really think it's important for professional house cleaners to understand the science of cleaning, to understand why you are using this product on this surface. I think that's really important, that it makes a much bigger impact and it feels much more professional to the professional house cleaner. And it treats them with a lot more respect than just saying, hey, this is bathroom cleaner, use it here. This is this, use it here. I think it's a lot more than that, more holistic. So it starts on day one. It starts, actually, I think training starts at the interview. I think it starts there. I'm training you on the type of company that we are and what we expect, and a lot more than just cleaning. So
We have people wanting to know when you can come back, Sharon.
Someday when Liz is sick.
Someone was giving you grief, not me.
No kidding. No, Liz puts the spark in my. I would be done by now if it wouldn't be for Liz, but instead I look very popular and people want me back. So you're a good catalyst. Let me put it that way. So, whenever you need somebody, just let me know because I'm ready.
Let's make it easy. You want to come back next Monday?
Sure, I'll do. Well, wait, what's the date? Yeah, I'll come back next Monday.
Okay.
That's good. All right.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be back this time next week, and we can
this time next week.
and then.
I'll be
All
much okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. Sharon, do you have anything you want to share today? Like, would you like people to go to your website? I think you were talking about maybe you were going to share your link to your aprons. A lot of people say that your aprons are superior to the other aprons that are out there. Did you want to?
I sent you the link. I sent you the link, Liz.
Okay, Tom, I sent that.
I'll stay in between for time. Success Made Easy, spelled MAID, is my website. Search aprons and you'll see a page on aprons. And I'm going to say, yes, I mean, I am without a doubt not the best trainer. I don't have all the best ideas. We can argue forever, but I'm going to say hands down, I have the best goddamn apron that ever hit this market. I absolutely do. I designed it myself after watching hundreds of cleaners go home with wet panties. I thought it was disgusting and thought, I can't believe my cleaners worked for me because they must have had wet panties for 20 years. So totally waterproof inside and now outside because you should wipe them down between houses with the COVID and you can't do that with cotton aprons. So they are totally waterproof, 6 pockets. I mean, you cannot beat and they're made in Austin by people I found. I'm back to employees again. Well, contract labor. So, because I can't find anybody that could make them the way I wanted them made for less than $50. Mine are expensive enough. I won't deny that, but they're worth every penny of it, and they last cotton picking long. I'm not going to have enough resales.
Well, you guys, Tom put the link in there to Success Made Easy, but there's a lot more than just aprons, you guys. I highly recommend that you go through Sharon's website. There's a lot going on. And Sharon talks about how she had the 750 clients and she had a $2 million business. But I want to point out to everybody that if you had 750 clients today, that's a $3 million business. So that's a much larger business. And you don't hear a lot about $3 million businesses today. So I just wanted to point out that 750 clients is big, you know. So she knows what she's talking about. And I know I love to go back and forth. You guys know I love to go back and forth with people. But Sharon's a true expert. So
yes, Sharon, thank you for joining us. This was fun. And then, you know, what's the point in doing it if it's not fun, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Look forward to having you back this time next week. Tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about PPP monies too, because Congress is trying to figure out how to get together a bill to come up with a second tranche. And they're also, and this is really important, trying to add something to that bill to make sure that we do not have to pay taxes on the expenses that were paid with the first tranche of PPP money. And if you don't understand what that means, come back and join us tomorrow, because if they don't get that right, you're going to be stroking a bigger check for taxes than maybe what you were prepared to. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Alonzo's going to be with us, and